Hello, and we're live. Welcome to the Check Drop. Today is Monday, August 10th, and we appreciate you checking us out. My very special guest today has performed on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, was featured on Comedy Central's Mind of Mencia, was the first comedian to ever perform stand-up comedy on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, has a very new comedy special entitled Broccoli on Amazon Prime, and may be best known as the Season 4 winner of Last Comic Standing. Please welcome to the Check Drop, Josh Blue. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely, man. You were one of those comics that just you always see working the circuit, and I've known of you, and I've met you many moons ago, and I just wanted you on and just to talk about your life and how you started from point A to now point B.
Sounds good, man. I'm home here with my kids, so it's just nice to talk to another adult.
You just stranded.
Yeah, I'm fucked, really. But
Awesome. So, how many kids do you have?
I have two.
Okay.
My girl is 10 and my son is 12, and then they both have friends over right now too. So it's a
Right.
full house. Good recording elements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we hear them, it adds to the comedy aspect of the show, right?
Well, just a real taste of my life. So you
well,
want it? Here you go.
well, I can't wait to dive right in and hear all about it. So we met. I think. Well, let's start at the beginning. When did you start stand-up comedy?
I actually started in college, let's say probably 2000. Started doing open mics back then.
Okay.
Just not just open mics, but open mics like at the housing community center where people were doing like love poems and music, and then I went up there like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And just uh, threw some jokes up there, and that's where it began. And then I really got started doing it in Denver in like 2002, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, when you started at Denver, were you getting the open mics like at Comedy Works, or what are the other like the
Uh,
clubs that you really kind of honed your craft?
there was a few other shitty rooms around town. We called them Rashke rooms. That was the guy that booked them. Uh, they're always in a ill lit room. There'd be 35 people on the list, and you'd be number 42 on the 38 people list because there's always more people that came. It's like the longest show you ever been on in your life.
Going on at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 2:30. Everyone's either left or too drunk to leave. So
So, all right. So, was the aspiration to get into like the bigger clubs like Comedy Works, or were you doing those as well at that
yeah,
time?
definitely. I just didn't know about them. I just kind of found the scene and started working my way up. And other people told me about the Comedy Works, and I actually found it one day on a bike ride. I was just riding around town, and I like bumped into the Comedy Works. And I was like, man, this is amazing. I want to be here. And I remember there was a couple walking by looking at all the upcoming performers. And I looked at them and go, one day my face is going to be in this window. And they're like, we believe you.
And then it happened eventually.
That happened well pretty quickly too. It didn't take me too long to work my way up the comedy ladder here in Denver. So
Okay.
uh,
Did
yeah,
you
so
did you always want to be a comedian, or was it just kind of
I
like you
still
said?
don't. No, man, I don't think when you're a kid, that's really a viable thing to be. When you're a kid, you're like, I want to be a fireman. You don't know that you can be a comedian.
Right.
People still don't believe that's a real job. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
So,
Now, so you were born with cerebral palsy,
yep.
and so did you? Was it a big hurdle for you? Do you think, with jumping into the comedy scene with that, or did you embrace that and just kind of run with that?
At first I really wasn't talking too much about the palsy in my show, which is really stupid because, knowing what I know now, you have to confront it and just talk about it right away and let
The
everybody else
elephant in
know.
the room, maybe.
Yeah, just let everybody in on the joke, I feel like that, you know, I think I was too eager and naive to know that it was awkward or whatever. Just like so exuberant about doing the show that I didn't even really care if it was a hurdle or not. Like I knew I was good. You
Yeah.
know, I often found that a lot of time people had a very different view of me before the show than after the show. Like other comics that didn't know who I am, that don't give me the time of day before the show, then after the show, like, holy shit, like, well, you should have talked to me like a human before that.
Good point. Good point. Did you ever get the comics, like the jealous comics, like being pissed, like, oh, he's just using that as a crutch, or
Yeah,
or like, hey, like I wish I had that hook, like
yeah.
too.
If you're jealous of me having cerebral palsy, then you're a pretty blessed person. I don't know what the deal is on that, but uh,
Right.
um, you know, as far as using it as a crutch, it's obviously something I talk about in my show because this is my point of view. I mean, I can't do my show from a Southern Belle point of view.
That's valid. Now, have you ever done a full show without even mentioning your cerebral palsy or any jokes, like
I'm sure.
not pertaining to it?
I'm sure I've done like some shorter sets, but like I said, if you don't know who I am, I want to let you off the hook. But again,
Right.
I feel like funny's funny, so like I don't know. Usually, I have the crowd pretty rolling by the first 2 minutes of the show, so I'm very good at making you comfortable with whatever this is.
Right, and most comedians do that. Obviously, to make that. I mean, there's a couple other comedians that come to mind that have disabilities that have obviously done really well in the comedy world. America's Got Talent has had a couple of those with like Drew Lynch with his stuttering. Samuel Comroe with his Tourette's and such.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think a good headliner comedian, regardless, is going to be able to make them feel comfortable, like with the material they have. So, but I've always admired about you and a couple other ones that can still carry the show without using that disability as part of the act. So
right. Well, I mean, ultimately, I feel like I'm a really good comedian that just happens to have cerebral palsy.
right, well. You've done pretty well for yourself, so that's pretty awesome. So now, when you got started, did you ever take any comedy classes?
I took a few. I actually took a course. I was in the Las Vegas Comedy Festival in 2004 or something, and they had some classes there taught by Shelley Berman, and that was pretty cool.
Okay.
But besides that, not really.
Did you have a group of comedians that you kind of started out with, like as like, hey, like buddies of yours that started with you, or do you kind of jump on that train solo and just ride that wave?
No, I mean, this wouldn't be any fun if you did it alone. And I'm in it to hang out. So definitely, I embedded myself in the Denver comedy scene. And like I said, I worked my way up pretty quick, but I got to hang out with so many comedic legends and people like that just in the Denver scene. And, I don't think you can learn comedy without being immersed in it.
Right. Now, do you hang out with those guys on the regular basis still? Some of the guys you started out with?
Definitely, yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my main mentors is a guy named John Novosad, and
Hmm.
he's the funniest dude I ever saw, and just like my really dear friend. And it's cool to get to like pal around with him. But then we'll write jokes together or whatever.
Gotcha. Now, have you performed stand up at all since, say, March 12th?
You know what? Yeah, I have.
Live.
I've done at least 10 live shows, and
Okay.
and then next weekend I have three coming up here in Denver.
Do you feel is it odd for you to go out on the road and do that? Or are they like
Oh yeah, it's terrifying, but you know, I think people really need to laugh. I really enjoy making people laugh, and the showrooms are half full, and there's social distancing, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll die this week, but
that's
well worth it. Well
that's
worth
not a
that
good
dick pic.
sign? Well, what was his name who passed out on stage? D.L. Hughley did
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
So yeah, we don't want that to happen for you
Well, it's a good way to go out, man.
on stage. Do you have a special writer now, like that kind of covers anything specifically regarding COVID? And
Yeah, I need you to breathe in my mouth 4 times before I go on.
you want to go ahead and get it now and get it out of the way?
Man, I've got enough other things. Like, get in line, fucking COVID.
Awesome. We do have a question here. Just came in.
I bet.
Comedian Jody Kearns, I bet. What makes Josh laugh?
Oh, my dumb kids do, and I like other comics. I really, like I just said, that guy John Novosad really makes me laugh. There's a bunch of comics that get me going, and then I tend to surround myself with pretty funny people, so uh, it's always nice to have a pal that you can verbally abuse and they can give it back.
Did you have like going into comedy before you started? Did you have a favorite comedian?
I've always been a Chris Rock fan.
Okay.
I really like his way of delivering the news.
Okay. And all these years later, like who's your favorites now? Now that you get to be a comedian yourself.
I mean, he's still up there for me. I think he's an amazing stand-up comic. Like, he's true to the craft. And the thing I like about him is that his jokes shouldn't be funny, but the way he says them, it's not just funny, but also educational. And then I love Mitch Hedberg is one of my favorites. Chappelle is just he's on a different plane than everybody else, but I've got to work with him quite a few times, and that's always an amazing experience.
Were those planned events, like working with Chappelle, or was it one of the scenarios where he dropped in on a show that you were doing?
Yeah, so he comes to Comedy Works pretty much every year, and somehow they put me with him right in the very beginning, and I've done over 50 shows here with him.
Okay. Well, maybe he's watching right now, so he can invite you to one of his Ohio shows that he's
That'd
doing.
be great, yeah.
Have you heard about those?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that some of the comedians that he's been getting out there for that. So
I'm sure of it.
So to sidetrack, I was reading your bio, and I did say that in your intro that you were the first stand-up to perform live on Ellen DeGeneres. I did not know that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, man, what an honor. I'm a huge fan of Ellen, and I think she, again, just a true comedian and just a hell of a writer. And the fact that she picked me to be the first one on her show is a pretty cool honor.
What year was that? Do you remember?
It was probably 2006 or 7.
Okay. And what do you think about all the? She's in the news quite a bit lately of her and her staff. I guess. Have you read the news?
Yeah,
or heard
I
anything about
just heard a little bit about it, man, and I don't know enough about it to say, but in this day and age, I'm not surprised. Whatever. What's next?
So what? So in Last Comic Standing, I feel like that was just your rocket ship that just propelled you into household name status. I mean, is that pretty much, I guess, one of the pinnacles of your career so far? Do you feel?
Man, I mean, that's so long ago already. That was 2006. So, I mean,
right. But don't you feel like that still carries the weight of your name recognition to be able to sell out clubs, and I think you'll always have that aspect. In
and there's no denying that, but I honestly think my Delete special on Netflix really got just as much play over the years. So it's cool, people recognize me from a bunch of different things that I've done, which is cool to say. Obviously, winning Last Comic is quite a pinnacle to reach, and I'm very fortunate in the fact that when I won that, I was like, look, dude, you won this at a very young age. It's going to be hard to top this in your career, so don't get frustrated that you're not topping winning a national TV show.
And how many years what was that into your stand up that you won that?
Like probably 4.
Okay. How much time did you have at that time under your belt? Like, could you do an hour? Could you do an hour at that point?
Oh, hell no, I can't do an hour now. I do like.
That's not true. You have 4 specials.
I know, but I barely squeak them out, man. I hate doing an hour. I'm not lying.
Yeah. Do you still do material every now and then from what you did back when you first started?
I really try not to. Once I record a special, I just move on to the next one.
Just scrap it and start over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there has to be a window of using the same material or some stuff, and that's when it's fun, where I can go back to old specials and bring out old jokes and fill in the new. I'm constantly writing, so my special is, I'm always working toward my next special, so I'm constantly weeding out old stuff and moving in the new.
Do you ever get writer's block while obviously trying to write new hours every time?
You know what, man? This is really weird, but I've never sat down and wrote anything. I've never written anything down. I don't practice. It just been very fortunate in the fact that the world continually offers me the joke, and I just pick it off the tree and deliver it to the audience. Just crazy shit happens to me all the time. Having kids, having palsy, and I'm very fortunate to be able to see the humor in a lot of this crazy shit.
Yeah, it's true. Now, so how do you decide, as a comedian, like where the avenue that your hour goes to on television, whether it's Netflix or other avenues such as like the Amazon Prime and such? Like, there's so many options now. Do you get multiple offers and you decide which avenue you would like to go, or is it just, hey, who's going to show me the most money, or do you look at all those factors?
I feel like right now it's kind of a wild west of what's happening as far as there being so many streaming options now. Obviously, I think Netflix is the creme de la creme, but they're not really buying people's specials. They're only producing their own right now. So that being said, you just keep going down the line until somebody wants it.
Do you feel that Netflix kind of overextended themselves over the last couple of years, where they were just buying up specials left and right and oversaturating the market?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, I've come to find that having a special really isn't that special anymore. Everybody's got a special,
Right. Like back in the day, you can be on, Carson, and then you get invited to the couch, and then that was your special. And
right.
The rocket ship again takes off there. But did you get a couple hundred Instagram followers when you go on the Tonight Show now? Did any?
Barely.
Yeah,
barely.
Yeah. So then, as a comic, then what's the purpose? What do you see the purpose of doing late night and such, if it's not going to propel you that aspect of your career?
Shit. It's just getting to be on TV, and it's pretty nice to say I was on the Tonight Show.
Right.
And Jimmy invited me over to sit down and hang, which is cool. That's a pretty big honor. So.
Besides the Tonight Show, Ellen and DeGeneres, what other shows did you perform stand up on?
I've done the Late Show with Craig Ferguson. I think it was on Regis and Kelly. I mean, I've done so many random ones. I mean, I have, what is it? Comedy Central Presents. I'm trying to think of what else. I know I don't know, at this point, they all kind of run together. I've
Gotcha.
done thousands of shows at this point in my career, which is.
Well, I remember you were doing Mind of Mencia, and I know a lot of people knew you from that. And to be honest, I don't watch a lot of comedy shows, which is weird being a comedy agent. But
Me neither. Yeah, I've come to find comedy agents usually don't really like comedy. So.
well, I like comedy. I just it's kind of like an accountant doing taxes on his day off. Like it's just
Right.
not too often you're gonna just go see comedy if I don't really have to, I guess, per
Right.
se. I mean, I watch comedy a lot when I when I go to comedy festivals and such. But yeah. So I didn't watch that show. So did you play a character? Did you play yourself? Like, what did you do on that
It's
show?
all character stuff. Yeah, characters. Those sketches.
Okay.
You know.
How was it to work with Carlos during that time? Because it was soon thereafter he was kind of like thrown under the bus as far as his joke thief, implications and such.
Yeah, man, Carlos really gave me a lot of breaks in my career, and I was touring with him before Last Comic Standing, and I was playing 5,000 seat venues before Last Comic Standing, so I was kind of giving him thanks for giving me the opportunity. Just like I was old hat by the time I got to doing it on a national scale, and
So did he take you under his wing and take you out in those big theaters?
yeah, I used to tour with him. And,
Okay.
And I met him at the Comedy Works. Like, server was like, "Hey, Carlos, you got to see this kid," and without beating one heartbeat, he was like, "Yeah, throw him on." And I just did 7 in front of him, and he was like, "Hey, man, you can open for me anytime you want." So then after that, he started inviting me out on the road and, fly out, meet the tour bus, and go play those big venues. And people don't know this, but he actually came and sat in the audience for one of my semifinals of Last Comic Standing. He came and supported me and
Nice.
brought his crew, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, something tells me he didn't steal a lot of your material though. So
Yeah, I mean, I often said that, if you see him walking out there with a limp, you know where you got it.
nice. Now, who do you who is your comedian's comedian?
My comedian?
Yeah, I know a lot of people often go to Brian Regan, being a comedian's comedian. That just I mean, is it still the others that you mentioned earlier, like the Mitch Hedbergs and the world? And
Well, I mean, there's a guy here in Denver that you probably won't know. His name's Troy Baxley.
I know Troy.
And
Yeah,
so Baxley to me is the ultimate comedian's comedian, where
okay.
it's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life, and the audience just might not necessarily get it.
Yeah, there's when I think of certain cities around the country as a comedy agent, Denver. I think of you. I think of Troy. I think of what is Ben Roy? Ben Roy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's one that.
Monster, man.
Yeah, like he seemed like he owns that town. Like he's always doing stand up in that town and all around Colorado. So.
Yeah, and he's in a band.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, he's in like a pretty good band.
Yeah. What does he do? Sing or play an instrument? Or?
Thing.
Okay. Nice. Awesome. Now, obviously, you've been a comedian for so many years. Is there anybody that you've always wanted to work with that you have not yet?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a long list like that. I mean, it would be fun to do a show with Bill Burr, or I'm trying to think of who's still alive.
There's a lot of comedians still alive.
I mean, doing a show with Ellen would be super cool. There's some people I'd like to meet and hang out with for sure. I mean, I toured with Ron White for many years, and I mean, that's that's definitely a hang right there.
Yeah, was that during his heyday with the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, or was it after?
After that, so this, you know, I was with him like a month before COVID, you know.
Yeah,
So for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been with him intermittently.
nice. Now, if you were not a comedian, what would be your plan B?
Serial killer.
Serial killer.
Yeah.
you you were quick to reply on that, Josh.
Yep. I'm actually working on having two jobs. So uh,
Tell, tell me a little bit more about your soccer past. I know you did you play with the
Paralympics. Yeah.
Paralympic team?
Yeah, man. I was a member of the national team for 8 years. I traveled all over the world playing soccer, representing the U.S. Um, been to 8 countries playing. I was in the '04 Paralympics. Um, if that puts anything into perspective about what we were talking about earlier, my beginnings of comedy, we forgot to mention that at the same time I was like joining the national soccer team and starting to tour the world playing soccer too. So I had
Okay,
two.
I didn't know that was happening then. I thought that came later, to be honest.
No, that was like my comedy career and my soccer career like launched at the same like month. It was insane.
Really? How did
Yeah.
that? So, did you start doing like open mics and stuff on the road, like to coincide with this going out on the road with soccer?
Yeah, a coach would let us go out once once a team meeting to the. We played in Chula Vista down in San Diego, so there's a comedy store down there. So I'd bring the whole Olympic delegation to the comedy show.
Wow.
And it's not just Paralympic. I mean, it's all the women's softball team, and just it's really cool shows to do.
Nice. And do you still play soccer regularly now?
Yeah, man. I mean, I still kick the ball around, and I got my kids to kick it at, so you know.
Yeah. If you like, what would you rather have the ability to write a joke or tell a joke? Do you like? Obviously, you said earlier you didn't really sit down and write per se, but have you ever gone into that aspect of writing? Has anybody ever approached you to be on a sitcom or write for a sitcom or write for a late night show?
Man, I haven't really had much opportunity, but like when I have done it, like as it's kind of interesting. So you'd probably have sort of adapt the traditional way of doing that because I don't physically write and I can't physically type. So that's probably why I never wrote anything down, my own jokes. But if you put me in a room with comics, I will always like, I hate to say like one up you on the joke, but it's like if you say something, I can say the next funny thing, and like I feed well off other people. So that's the kind of joke writing I could be really good at. Like, put me in a room to punch up everything.
That's what I was about to say. Are you do you do that and offer like the tags and such? Like, are you that comic in the back of the room that'll watch like the feature act and say,
Yeah,
"Hey man, you should end with this bit instead of this and add this tag to this."
yeah, I definitely do that a lot, and I handpick my own features a lot. So I bring people that I think are really amazing comics, and like I bring comics that most comics would never have open for them because they are really fucking strong. Like Ben Roy, I'll have Ben Roy open for me, and I'm like, why did you do that?
Well,
You know?
that's what I was gonna say. A lot of headliners do the opposite.
Right.
They bring out a feature that's not going to challenge them comedically on stage. That obviously it's not going to put the
I
shine on them. I mean,
you can
that
ask.
doesn't bother you, obviously.
You can ask most clubs out there. Like, I consistently bring real heavy hitters to open for me, and I want you to leave the show going. that was a good show from start to finish. And if I've always been of the opinion, if you can't follow your opener, then you don't deserve to be the headliner. So I always I like the little challenge. And I mean, I'm talking about this one guy here in Denver named Derek Stroop, and he's just a monster on stage. And he's loud, he's funny, he's quick, and he gets the room going. And he always says and he's like, man, I crushed that set. And then I walk on, and he's like, damn it, like, how does he just follow that so effortlessly? And the key to that is to don't try to redirect the energy, just kind of go with what they've already done for you. They've already run the ball 90 yards down the field, and they hand you to go in and high step the last.
Right. Bring it across the goalpost.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, who are the regular features that you bring out on the road?
So there's that guy.
Stroop was the one?
Derek Stroop. Janae Burris. The guy John Novosad, I love him. There's a woman named Christy Buckley. She also has cerebral palsy, and she's hysterical.
Is that not a conflict of interest on the show? Not a conflict of interest, but does that? Oh, did I lose him? I think we lost Josh for a second. Oh, there you are. Is that like it's kind of like having two guitar acts on the same show, or no?
I used to worry about that, but again, it's like I can follow anything and I can build from it. So if you have
does the audience get really confused? Like, what's going on today?
Oh yeah. I definitely confront all that. And,
yeah.
So.
Do you have any pre-show or post-show routines that you're like, this is kind of like my superstitious thing that
Man, I'm of the opinion you could wake me up at 2:30 in the morning and say you're on in 5 and I'm good to go. So I don't really have too many anything that's like superstitious, but I definitely smoke a lot of weed and before the show, and then drink a lot of beer after. So
you never flip-flop those? That's the routine?
Sometimes, but
do you feel like that's it gets you into your creative mindset? The show flows better if you're doing pot, or is that just what you've always done?
You know what, man? It's weird. It's like I feel like I live in a creative mindset. I do a lot of artwork. I do any number. I'm writing a book, and I'm a sculptor and a painter. So my brain is always kind of in that creative mindset. But I found if you smoke some, it's just like a different way of it takes a filter off. Let's just say that. Like all of a sudden. Sorry,
I hear them in the back.
All right, cool.
They're having a great time.
Yeah.
Now, tell me more about that other creative outlet. So you said you paint and you sculpt. How long have you been doing that? And what do you do with that?
I could just show you. How about that?
Oh, there you go. Sweet.
Here's one of my carvings. Let's see here.
All right. If you're listening to the podcast later, he's showing us some of his creative work. Wow, that's cool.
That's all carved out of wood.
All right. How many times did you cut yourself?
Surprisingly not that many. I just did this pig.
Nice.
I can't really hold still long enough for you to see any of this shit.
Is that correct that I think I saw on a W9 one time or something, or 1099 after I booked you for something? Is your production company called Bad Arm Productions?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember that after you said that you couldn't hold that.
Bad Arm Productions.
I like it. It's unique. It's personal for you. So.
Well, I ain't lying.
Yeah. Now, so do you obviously coming up? You probably had the hell gigs, the shit gigs, the hey, I ate it on stage. Do you have a go-to story that you can share with the listeners of all right, that was by far the go-to my hell gig of all hell gigs that it won't ever top that gig? Do you have a story you can share?
Yeah, of course.
Share that story. I love hearing a good shitty story.
All right, well, buckle up. This is a
All
good
right,
one.
here, tell it. Here we go.
So I got booked for an 80-year-old woman's birthday party.
What year is this?
This is gotta be two. When was Obama elected the first time?
2004.
4. So probably 4.
Okay.
2004, yeah, right around there. Anyway, the woman
8. I can't remember. Math is hard.
was pretty early, so I think it's 4. And she was a very wealthy woman. She was a cattle woman. She made her money from selling livestock.
Okay.
And she was rented out a big ballroom, like 360 people, really decorated quite well. And then during the dinner, they had a slideshow of her like big game hunting. So it's like her next to a seal that she shot or an elephant, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like a huge animal. I love animals and raise money for conservation. So
you're not going out hunting anytime soon. Is that what you're saying?
No, definitely not an elephant or a seal, for fuck's sake. Who shoots a seal? Anyway,
Yeah, most people club them, right? Isn't that the
well,
cliche?
that's my preferred method. But anyway, right before the show, they go, okay, we need you to do an hour, and we can't have you swear at all, and no political jokes. And I'm like, okay, that's not a problem for the amount of money that you're paying me, that I can do that, right? And I get up there, and I'm like 2 minutes in, and I'm getting a dull response. And then this guy goes, what do you think of Sarah Palin? And I was like, well, actually, I'm contractually obligated not to talk about that. And then I tried another joke, and then he goes, what do you think of Sarah Palin? And I'm like,
Was this her husband at the time or something?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's a, an 80-year-old woman's friends are all also like 80s. So it's a bunch of people that probably couldn't even hear me anyway. But this guy kept yelling that real loud. And finally I was like, oh, maybe it'd be funny if Sarah went hunting with the birthday girl. They could do some wolf hunting from a helicopter. And they liked that. And then I try to keep going, and then he goes, what do you think of George Bush? And I'm like, He's like, what do you think of George Bush? And finally,
nobody's trying to shut this guy down at all during the show. No, they're just going. Let him go.
Yep, and he finally said it enough times where I go, I think he's a fucking moron.
So right there, you've broken 2 rules. You've cursed and you discussed politics.
Yeah, so they did them both in the same thing. And it went even more silent than it had been before. And then I go, okay, and now back to the crippled jokes. And this old lady goes, I don't like the crippled joke.
Oh, boy.
And then I only had 48 more minutes to go. So
that was not in the first 2 minutes. Was it really?
Yeah. It was like the first 12 minutes.
So how did you bail yourself out of that one? I mean, did you do the time? Did you do the time, and did you get the check?
I did
As an agent asked, did you get the check?
I did get the check. I did not fulfill the time, but that was because it was so bad. By the end, her husband was like,
just move on. Yeah. Let's get to the open bar and just move on.
And then I went, the husband approached me afterward and goes, why didn't you swear? And make fun of politics. And I was like, I was told not to. And he's like, I'm paying for this. That's what I wanted.
Was he the one yelling?
Yes, it was the husband of the.
Of the birthday girl?
Yeah, that is the worst possible one.
I can see the pain in your face telling the story and recounting that.
It was real bad.
And you knew exactly, like, that's the one that you will.
Yeah,
do you still have nightmares over some of those gigs?
Yeah, you can't compete with that, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's flip it then. On the flip side, what is the, the best gig you've ever had? Is there one that sticks out, like, hey, you've been doing the comedy all these years, and you're like, you know what, this is the kind of gig that, like, you dream of doing stand-up when you start, that just all the moons have aligned, and, like, you walk away with, I would have done that shit for free. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what, do you have one of those stories?
I have a lot of I would have done that shit for free shows, for sure.
Right.
But I guess, I mean, one, I would say that those times opening for Chappelle is like, that's like that every time. It's a two-man show, me and Chappelle, and that's pretty amazing because they're there and their energy is so hot for him.
Right. Do any of those exist on the internet that you can watch?
No, he's very, very protective of filming anything.
Right. Well, I knew he was, but I didn't know if you would if they allowed you to be filmed during any of those.
No.
Are you a fan of that concept of the Yonder pouches, where you put the cell phones in the pouches and not allow that?
I gotta say, it definitely makes for a better show. It really does. I mean, I understand why people get, a little upset, but at the same time, I'm like, step away from your phone for an hour and a half. You'll be fucking fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's. I think if every comedian could afford that, I think he or she would probably do that in their show, because it does make the difference of, like, yeah, I mean, you look down in the front row and you got somebody like just scrolling through Facebook, and you're like, what the hell?
Comedy Works has that implemented at every show.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So
yeah. Do they have the physical pouches, or just no cell phones allowed?
Just pouch.
Gotcha. I went to Comedy Works my very first time in February, actually. So yeah, but it was a special event. Hannibal Buress was there, so I don't know if that was just specifically for him. So it's good to know that they do that.
Every show. Yeah.
So I was at the NACA conference, the NACA National Conference, and that's where I met you many moons ago, and it's kind of where you got not your start, but it was definitely another one of those springboard careers.
Sure.
Yeah, tell the listeners about the college market, the pros and cons of getting started in that market, and how it helped or hurt you.
I mean, it definitely helped, but I feel like I'm very lucky in a lot of ways, in the fact that, like, I mean, I have a great manager, Mike, that got me into all this shit.
Oh, lost him again. Hey, technology is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. Josh, you there?
I can see you. I
cannot see you.
I'm coming back, I promise. I swear
it's here. Josh Black right now, so
I don't know.
See, that's why I can't be the person here telling the jokes, because I'm not very funny. So
yeah, well, I don't know, man.
Some of my favorite times are when the show goes awry like this. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well,
so I can still hear you. So let's just keep forging ahead, at least.
This is probably better that you can't see me. So that's great.
That's okay. So all right. Keep going on your NACA experience of when you got in, and at that time you mentioned your manager Mike, and is he one of the owners at Comedy Works, or is he?
No, he's just a senior staff person.
Okay.
He's been around forever.
Okay. Yeah, I've never met Mike, but I know you're previous agent or manager, Barbara Holiday. I think she kind of got you started in the college market, correct?
Yeah, she got me in the college scene. Yep, Barbara helped me a bunch. I was like fifth alternate in the like national convention, and I got it like for the main stage show. That makes sense.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then I ended up getting it for the main stage of the biggest, nationals, and that's where I booked all those gigs. And you go to the booth afterward and schmooze with the kids, and I've always been a good schmoozer. So
yeah, nice.
And
what
then
year? What year was that? What year did you make your NACA debut?
You know what, man? I really not sure.
Okay, no, I get it. I mean, they all kind of go together at times,
Well,
right?
it was the year before last comic, so 2003.
Okay.
No, 2005.
Well, I do remember that it was pretty much close to that because I think you had to cancel a lot of those shows, right? Like because the
you know what, man? I honored a lot of them though. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that year after I won, I did like too many shows.
Yeah. Does it get overwhelming doing the one-nighter college market? I know sometimes when you're hopping from Montana to Arizona to New Hampshire, all like every day is a different town. I mean, is that just do you like it at first and then it gets troublesome and just weary on the road, or did you adapt quickly and said this is what I signed up for?
I wouldn't want to do that now. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, well, it's called earning your stripes, right?
Yeah, but back then it was fun. It was adventure, and you're always just hoping you get to the next level and just keep climbing.
Right. Awesome. Well, if you're just tuning in, Josh Blue is having some little technical difficulties. We can hear but not see him. So
I could call back, but I don't know.
That's okay. We'll just
like I said, it's way better without seeing me, man.
This is a first though. The first time we've done a live stream and we can't see you. So
well, I mean, look, I can now I can mute it, but I can't.
That's how about this? I will take you out of the stream, and then I can maybe you can just click on the link and get back in it. You want to try that?
All right, I'll try.
All right, and I'll try and do some stand up on the side for the first time.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are. It's 4:48 on Monday, and we're 48 minutes into our interview with Mr. Comedian Josh Blue, and having some technical difficulties, but he'll be back shortly. So I hope everybody's being safe and healthy, and politics aside, I hope you're wearing a mask. I mean, just wear the damn mask. It's simple. Maybe we'll get through this, and we'll see you on the other side of that. All right. Look, here he is. He's back.
Ta-da!
Yeah, it worked.
Wow, that's great.
That's perfect.
I'm surprised that worked because nothing ever fucking works.
Oh, that worked perfectly. So it's all good. So I like your red ceiling, by the way, too. Thanks.
It was like that when I got it, but I dig it.
Yeah. And so did you grow? You didn't grow up in Denver. You lived overseas, correct?
I was born in Cameroon, West Africa.
Okay.
And I grew up in Minnesota too. So.
Okay. All right.
Two very different places.
Right. What year were you when you landed in Minnesota?
I was probably like 3.
Okay.
3.
Navy brat or something, or military, or?
No, my dad's a professor.
Okay.
Teacher. Very brilliant man.
And decided to move to Minnesota with the family.
Well, they were living in Minnesota first, and they did a professor swap.
Gotcha. Do you have other siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Older, younger?
I'm the youngest of 4, so.
Okay.
2 sisters and an old bro.
Your family pretty proud of you, I assume, of what you've
No, man,
accomplished.
they wanted me to be a doctor.
Well, and this is working out for you though, so they're proud of you.
Nope,
Still nope. Do
nothing.
do they ever come to your shows?
Oh hell no, not fans.
Really? Are you serious?
No,
Oh, well, there could be some
no,
family bad blood.
no, they're
That'd be a
they're very supportive. I mean, my parents are. I'm pretty sure like my sisters and probably my parents have never watched any of my DVDs or anything.
really.
I'm pretty sure of
Do
that.
you mail them to them and say, "Hey, here's my latest special. Check it out."
No, I've learned not to do that, but
You don't want to force feed it on them.
no, I mean they like I said, they've been to live shows. I just don't think they'd particularly go out of their way to like sit down and watch a
I
DVD.
bet they do. I bet your parents watch your every special the day it comes out.
I, I, I'm, I would be willing to put
Get them on the phone.
uh,
Okay.
I will. I'll ask them. I'll call them and ask them, and then I'll get back to you.
All right, perfect. If you had the opportunity to look into your comedy career in 10 years, would you?
Hmm, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I wrote it myself.
I guess I would.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
where do you see your this isn't an interview, but where do you see yourself in 10 years? Do you see yourself still doing stand up, and will you ever retire from stand up comedy?
I really truly believe that I will not ever retire from stand up. Um, I feel like this is just like I'd love to do acting. I'd love to do TV and movies and stuff, but I just feel like I'm put on this earth to be a stand-up comedian. So
Unless your serial killer opportunities take over and
yeah, I mean,
that you
I think I
mentioned
can
earlier.
juggle them both for a while. But even then, I'm sure I could do bits in prison and stuff.
Oh yeah, it probably doesn't pay the same though. It
Uh,
pays in other ways, and I don't think you want to get paid that
yeah,
way.
you know, whatever the currency is, I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't want to know what that currency is.
Or
so,
where it's been.
so what's the one milestone left that you're like, here's the dangling carrot that's in my comedy career that you've yet to achieve, but like that's what you want to do, your all time goal.
I mean, I don't know that there's the one particular goal that I can think of. Like, you know, I'd like to, when I'm done doing this, have a body of work that really stands for itself. I guess is one thing. Like, like I said, I have 5 hour specials. If I could have 10 in my career, that'd be pretty cool to say. I left that to the world. I really do want to do more acting and TV and stuff. I really feel like I could be good in a lot of these roles, or a role that's never been written before. Um, I also feel like, as far as movies go, I think that I could definitely be a funny movie character or my own character.
Right? Have you ever done any movies? Have you ever been approached to do movies or?
Yeah, I've been in 3 movies.
Okay, what movies?
The first one's called Feast 3. It was like a horror film.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know Feast 1, 2, or 3.
I'm
I
sure
should go.
you, I'm
I
sure
should
you
go.
don't.
I should go look that up.
I'm sure you don't.
Did you know anything about the Feast franchise before you were cast in Feast 3?
No, the first one was I think Project Greenlight thing or something like that. I don't really remember, but they got funding to do it, and it went pretty good. And then they just followed through with 2 more horrible additions. It was a real shitty horror movie, but it was really fun to be
Sure.
in. And
Yeah, when you get tapped to do a movie, I'm sure it's like, hey, that's awesome. Let's give it a shot, right?
well, yeah, and
Hopefully they paid you and like,
yeah, they paid me, but it's like it's like movies 101. You know what I mean? I'm on set, and they're like, writing the script. I mean, several times they'd be like, "What would you say here?" And I'm like, "Is that what you're asking me?" Like, I'm
Well, you're good at punching up jokes, right? So
right, exactly. But
yeah.
and then I was also in a movie called Cash. That was a pretty high end one. I was just like, I was the Ace Rent-A-Car guy.
Any notable people in that movie?
Yeah. What the hell's his name? My one scene was with Sean Bean or Sean. What's his name? Sean. He was in Game of
If you don't
Thrones.
know, I don't know.
I know. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Sean. He's a pretty famous actor. Why can't I think of it right now?
Yeah.
Sean Bean, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
And then
All
the
right.
other movie I was in was 108 Stitches as a baseball movie, and
Okay.
I was the pitcher. So
All right. Maybe there should be a soccer movie and put you in.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
It was, even more unbelievable than the baseball thing.
Did you ever turn down any movies?
Uh, just private ones.
Yeah. You're like, that's just not gonna work out for me.
Like in my buddy's backyard, like, yeah, I want to film you fucking this pig.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a good place to wrap it up here.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure of it.
So tell us a little bit more about your special. It's called Broccoli. First off, why is it called Broccoli? And
I would tell you, but it would ruin the joke.
okay, so
You gotta watch it to find
so you
out.
will know if you go watch it, obviously.
Yep. And then, like it says, my 5th hour special. It's on Amazon Prime right now, and a bunch of other streaming networks like PlayStation and Google Plus and whatever bullshit they put it on. And then, what is really exciting too is a show just came out called Cuisine. I filmed this like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Okay.
It was originally on the Go 90 network. I am the host of a cooking show where I get every cook just really, really high before they have to cook.
Nice.
And then like stop them through the show. And now that's on Amazon Prime right now, so people can watch that. It's actually a really funny show.
And that's just they just added that.
They just put it up like this week too. So
Oh, nice.
pretty
Very
excited
cool.
for me.
Well, you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
And then I'm also performing at Comedy Works this next weekend, August 14 and 15. So if you go to comedyworks.com, you can get tickets, but you can also get virtual tickets so people can watch from anywhere.
Oh, nice.
So you want to see me do stand-up, you can go there and check out a live show from the comfort of your own home.
Very cool.
And also, please follow me on Instagram. It's my favorite form of social media, just Josh Blue Comedy.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the Check Drop, and nothing but success for you, continued success. I hope we can do this again sometime, and I'm proud of you. You're doing great, and we'll get through all this COVID mess, and look forward to seeing you out on the road, man.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. Well, everybody at home, go check out his special, Broccoli, on Amazon Prime. And if you need a comedian for any event, you know where to find us. So we're at summitcomedy.com.
I prefer 80-year-old woman birthday parties.
Yes, we will hook Josh Blue up with that. He wants to relive his past and go back to that. And all right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, Josh. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
See you next week, everyone.